For this lesson, we're going to learn how to use the Z-score tables to solve for areas or percentages based on the table in the last two pages of your book. So if you jump to the last two pages in your book, there's a table. One has all the Z-scores for the negative values, and the other one has the Z-scores for the positive values. Now, when we're using this table, the important thing to know is that from the Z-score table, it is always going to give us the area to the left of that Z-score. So in this case, say for a Z-score of 1.5, we don't know what the Z-score is, then if I look at the table, it's going to tell me the area out of a total possible of 1, because remember the entire area underneath this curve is 1 or 100%, it's going to tell me the area to the left of that point. It's always to the left, which is going to be important when we're looking at some of the stuff. So we're talking about the properties of z-scores. A z-score for data describes the number of standard deviations above or below the mean, or that center point. Negative z-scores indicate the data is below the mean or to the left of the mean on the curve. Positive z-scores mean that it's above the mean or to the right of the mean on the curve. The z-score table gives us the area under the curve to the left of the z-score, or we can use this to find the percentage of the data to the left of the z-score, or the probability that a randomly chosen data is going to exist to the left of that point on the z-score. The mean, median, and mode always have a z-score of 0, just like our standard deviation table. So, if we're using a z-score tables to calculate the area under a normal curve, the first thing we're going to say is if we have a z-score where I want to solve for anything less than a z-score of -3, or the area when it is less than -3. I'm going to draw on my chart here that this is going to be the point of -3, and I want the area filled in to the left of this. Now I'm going to determine that area for z of -3 using the z-score table at the back of the book. So I'm going to jump over to my z-score table, and in this case it wants it for when it's -3.00. On the left hand side it's going to give me the tenths. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to say, well, this is -3.0, and because the hundredth, which is going to be all the values up here, are going to tell me the hundredths, because the hundredth is also a 0, I'm looking for 0 and 0, and there's my answer. I follow to the left from here, I follow down from here for my hundredth spot, and it's going to tell me what the actual value is. So I can say that determine the area under the curve. Well, the area under the curve, or the area under -3, is going to equal 0.0013, or I can multiply that by 100 and get 0.13%. If I verify that using the standard distribution curve, then I'm going to look for the -3 here. It says to the left of -3 is 0.13%, or 0.0013 is the same answer. Let's take a look at example 2. So we're going to use the z-score table to calculate for the area to the left of -2, to the left of +1, and to the left of +2. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to state that we're going to call this -2. And I want the area when it's filled in to the left of there. We're going to say that this is going to be +1. And we're solving for the area to the left of there. And we're going to say that this is going to be +2. And we're solving to the area to the left of there. So remember that this would be for a z-score of -2.00. This would be for +1.00. And this would be for +2.00. I'm going to jump over to my z-scores. And I'm going to say, well, the first one it wanted was -2.00. So I'm going to ignore what I have here. And I'm going to find for -2.0 on the left. And then the hundredths is going to be 0. I'm going to come straight over to the right from here. I'm going to go straight down from here. And there is the value that I'm looking for, 0.0228. So A of -2 is equal to 0.0228. For +1, I'm going to have to go to my positive z-score table on the next page. And I'm going to start with 1.0, and then the hundredths placement of 0 as well, which on the positive side is in the first slot. I'm going to follow straight to the right, straight to the down, and that's what I'm going to get. So in this case, it's 0.8413. Sorry. And for the last one, I'm going to do the same thing with 2. I'm going to go to 2.0 with a 100 spot of 0, and I get 0.9772. And if I go and verify them from the previous table, well, the first one I'm going to add these two values together. The second one I'm going to add these 4 values together. And last I'm going to add these 5 values together. And in this case, it is all the same.